Bark, bark.
In every occupation, wherever you may go, gotta know that you'll need it for the future. Whatever you may do, you need some math to make your dreams come true. You gotta know math. You gotta know math. Yeah.
You kids, if I told you once, I've told you a million times to stop watching the telly and get cracking those books. Well, maybe not a million times. That would be 1,000,000. Oh, well, as long as you're here, you might as well watch another episode of Dirk Niblick and the Math Brigade. In this story, Dirk doesn't make an appearance for a couple of minutes, so don't start crying when you don't see him. Today, we begin with Dirk's neighbor, Wallace C. Beasley. He's on queue at the National River Bank, hoping to withdraw some money from his savings account.
May I be of help?
Yes, she's made, Toots. Fill up this here sack.
With what?
Try money.
What a unique concept. Are you perchance a bank robber?
Yes, I am, and my mother is very embarrassed about the whole thing. She wanted me to be a consultant.
Well, here's your money and have a nice day.
Thank yous. Ta-ta.
Hello.
What do you want?
I'd like to withdraw $5.
I'll need 3 pieces of ID and your mother's maiden name.
Well, the other person wasn't asked such torturous questions.
The other person just happened to be a bank robber.
Well, aren't you supposed to set off an alarm when you've been robbed?
Oh, how silly of me.
Were there any witnesses?
Yes, Your Worship. I witnessed the ordeal, as did the teller.
He fainted. You'll have to come downtown with us.
We are downtown.
It's just a euphemism we on the force use to indicate we want you to come to police headquarters.
Well, what about the teller?
We'll question him when he comes to.
See you later, Bonwit.
You say you actually saw the car the alleged perpetrator used to make his escape?
Yes, and I got the license plate number, up to a point. It was UM6,
You know, it would be a big help if you could remember the other 4 digits.
Yes, you see, that way we could just tell our police officers to look for that car, stop it, and arrest the driver.
Oh, I feel like such a dipstick.
UM6.
One other thing these tired old eyes noted. No digit was repeated.
So all the digits were different.
Yes, that must certainly give you something to go on.
What?
Well, we know the number starts with 6, right?
Yes.
So the number could be 61234.
Yes, or 65432.
Or 62429.
No, you've repeated a digit, the 2.
So 63429.
Holy moly, how many combinations are there?
Now, let's use our noodles.
What?
Think. We can use combinatorics.
I liked it better in the old days when we just walloped the bejabbers out of the witness until he remembered.
Yeah.
Moving right along, there were 10 choices, 0 through 9, for this first digit.
And we know it was a 6.
Yes, and we know the digit 6 is not repeated.
So for the second digit, there are only 9 choices, right?
Right, only 9. And only 8 for the third digit because it can't be 6 or the same as the second digit.
You're getting it, Sherlock. And only 7 for the fourth digit, a mere 7. And for the last digit, 6 choices. So, if we find this product, we'll know how many combinations there are for our missing license plate.
But, gentlemen, is that the only question you should be asking to find a getaway car?
What are you?
Dirk Niblick of the Math Brigade.
I knew my rights, so with my one allotted phone call, I rang up my neighbor and asked him to drop round, perchance to help.
Perhaps you should have asked some other questions. Think about it.
And you think about it, too. Dirk may be onto something. Or he may just be blowing his own horn again. We'll be back in what will seem like no time at all.
Hello, happy cookers. Today we're gonna make a popover. And what you need 1 cup of flour. You pour it in the bowl. 1 cup of milk. Pour it in the bowl. 1 egg beaten. Pour it in the bowl. And the most important ingredient of all, 1 level teaspoon of baking powder. This is what puts the pop in the popover. Throw it in there. And you mix it all up. Mix, mix, mix. Baking sure is fun, isn't it? Yeah. And then you pour it in the pan. And then we pop over to the oven. And we set it in there for 20 minutes. Short show. And then you pull out and voila! A piping hot popover. Hey, what happened to your popover? Did you use that tablespoon instead of the teaspoon again? Oh yeah! Oh, all right, well, we'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye now.
If it's out there, it's in here. Math. You never know when you'll need it next.
I knew you'd be back. You're not the sort to leave Dirk Niblick in an untenable position. When we last left Dirk, he was suggesting that the local constabulary was messing up. Let's join them and see.
As I figure it, Lieutenant Niblick, if we simply multiply 9 times 8 times 7 times 6, we'll come up with the product.
You will indeed.
Let's try it. 9 times 8 is 72.
Yeah. And 7 times 72 is...
Pardon me, Lestrade. I'll take over from here. 7 times 72 is 504. And 6 times 504 is 3,024. Lieutenant, you have taught your neighbor well.
Have I? What does 3024 represent?
That's how many license plate numbers we'll be looking for.
We're using combinatorics, Lieutenant Niblick. I should think that a mathematician of your stature would have known that.
But what will you do with this information? Send it to your patrol cars?
Of course, and ask them...
Ask them what?
Ask them...
I get your drift, Lieutenant, which is something I swore I'd never do, but when you're in the cartoon biz, it's any cell in a storm.
You found an answer to one question, officer. Are there other questions you might have asked?
I don't know. Like what?
For example, did you ask the color of the car?
Red.
No.
Red.
Was it a 2-door or a 4-door getaway car?
2-door.
No.
Were there any other distinguishing characteristics about the vehicle?
It was a convertible, the radio antenna was broken, the right rear fender was gone, and it had a bumper sticker which read, "My dog has fleas."
We didn't ask those questions.
And the driver steered with a limp.
Armed with that information, you'll be able to make your list of numbers even shorter. Of the 3,024 cars that begin with UM6, most of them won't be red convertibles. It will help you in your search considerably, I'm sure.
Here's the computer printout.
Now ask the computer to give us this information. A red convertible with license number UM6.
Well, I can't tell you how impressed I am with your common sense, Lieutenant.
Try.
No.
Why didn't you tell the police about the car?
They didn't ask.
Well, I think there's a lesson to be learned here, Neighbor Beasley. If you want to get good answers, you have to ask good questions.
Oh, you stunned me to the quick, let me tell you. Oh, my. Look there, Lieutenant.
It's nothing, Mr. Beasley, just a red convertible with the license plate number UM62497. A car with no fender, a broken antenna, and a bumper sticker which reads, "My dog has fleas."
Sound familiar?
It does ring a bell distantly.
Throw down your arms, you leper. The jig is up. I'm making a citizen's arrest. You have wronged society, and I am going to read you your rights. You have the right to be arrested by a major cartoon character. If you give up that right, you may show up in a Saturday morning network show, thereby humiliating members of your entire family.
It would appear...
I'll take it from here, Lieutenant Niblick. It would appear that justice has been done. And by golly, for one, I feel pretty darned good about it. We'll be back soon with another spiffy adventure of Lieutenant Dirk Niblick of the Math Brigade.
And his faithful neighbor.
Yes. And his faithful neighbor, Wallace Beasley.
Wallace C. Beasley.
Wallace C. Beasley.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, didn't you used to date my Aunt Fern?
The story you are about to see is a fib, but it's short. The names are made up, but the problems are real.
It was Thursday, 9:43 a.m., and Monterey, known as the golf capital of the world, featured 18 beautiful courses. Combined par is 1,296. 3 of the courses are ranked among the top 10 courses in the world. The captain of the golf team is Joe Greco. My caddy is George Frankley. My name is Tuesday. I'm a mathematician. A mathematician with a handicap. No Despair Diamond. George and I have been working in Monterey, California, trying to protect a valuable gem from being stolen. Wouldn't you know, the first day on the job.
The Despair Diamond has been stolen.
A prime suspect disappointed us. Archie Leach was the likely culprit, but he didn't have the gem, nor was it found on the boat he flipped over on his exit from the party. We assumed it had sunk. We decided to dive for the stone, but we needed more information.
Now you're clean.
In order to find exactly where the boat flipped over, we used a mathematical process called triangulation. George got a map of the bay, and we found 2 witnesses who saw the boating mishap from 2 different locations. We transferred the data to the navigational device called a Loran and went to sea. We dove but had no luck. Based on new thinking that involved taking both surface and underwater currents into account, we made more dives. On the last dive, we found equipment from Archie's boat, but no diamond.
Flyers were heaviest, Pat.
Right. They reached bottom first.
Uh-huh. Then we found the dividers and a screwdriver.
Aha. The weight and the shape of the stuff determine how long it takes to reach bottom. The longer it takes, the more it drifts because of the currents.
Right. And here's where we found the flyers, the dividers, the screwdriver, and the watch.
The watch took 5 seconds to sink 10 feet in the pool. How long did it take the simulated diamond to sink?
4 seconds. Despair Diamond should have been...
Right here, between the screwdriver and the watch.
But it wasn't.
Then John Steenbeck called us and said,
It's a formal tuxedo slipper.
Oh?
Yeah, Joe found it washed up on the beach.
George, the label says property of A. Leach.
I thought it might interest you.
It did interest us, and so did the fact that the shoe had a false heel. It didn't contain the diamond, but maybe the other one did. We decided to check it out. I'd say it was about 55 yards from the pin, wouldn't you, Mr. Leach?
Oh, I never estimate in terms of distance. Only golf clubs. I think you're a soft 9-iron away, I think.
A pitching wedge.
Let me show you how to hold up on a 9. Now, don't pull back all the way. And when you follow through.
I think when I said pitching wedge, you misunderstood.
Mind if I play through? Hit any lucky shots today, Nora?
Not a one, Nicky. How about you?
No luck at all.
Nice of you to join us, Mr. Chuck.
I'll just take a par for the first 16 holes, drop a ball at 3 here, and play into the clubhouse. Oh, Mr. Leach, I almost forgot. I found your shoe the other day, washed up on shore. Thought you might like it back. It is yours, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is. Where did you say you found it?
Mementos Rock.
Drat. Have you the time?
Yes, it's nearly 1 o'clock.
Frightfully ashamed to say I have a previous engagement. You have to excuse me. We must do this again. Ta-ta!
Bye-bye.
4!
You found nothing at Archie's place?
Yes, and plenty of nothing. I did find his other shoe, but it just had a regular lifted heel in it. No secret compartment, no diamond.
And no cache of stolen jewelry either?
Nope. Pat, I've been thinking.
And?
We've been assuming that the things that fell out of the boat when it flipped all went into the drink at the same time.
True.
Maybe the tools and other stuff we found did go over. They would have been stowed in a bench and it probably opened, and they were dumped.
So you're suggesting maybe
Maybe Archie had the diamond in his pocket,
the boat drifted?
and he lost it a few minutes later. Maybe we should hit the waves again.
Uh-huh. But first, let's make a stop.
Here's our oceanographic chart. Say, are you guys really with MathNet?
We are.
What a class organization.
Yeah. Here's where the first 3 dives took place.
Well, if George's chart is accurate, then this is it. You were diving in water about 10 fathoms or 60 feet deep.
What about our theory that the diamond was lost later and drifted further?
Well, if it drifted further, then I would say you'd have a real problem diving for it.
How's that?
Well, look.
If the despair diamond went over the ledge and into that canyon...
You see, 27 fathoms, 35 fathoms. That's over 200 feet deep.
This man can't dive that deep.
This woman isn't very good at it either.
I'm sorry.
Well, neither man nor woman can dive that deep. But
Mabari can.
Mabari and the ROV.
Hey, Dad. If I bring it back early, could I borrow the submarine?
Mabari was eager to cooperate with us, and we were soon aboard the Point Lobos. Before long, we were slicing neatly through the waves to our next undersea adventure. This one should prove to be a little bit drier. The waters were calm as we left the harbor, but when we got out on the ocean, it was very rough indeed. George and I hung on as the boat rocked in 12-foot swells, trying to get our sea legs and feeling a bit green. We made our way below deck, where we could watch the television monitors as the Mabari crew deployed the ROV, their unmanned submarine.
As you can see, we have a number of different images in the control room. This allows us to see around the vehicle with different views. The image that we're looking at right now is a burrowee ctenophore. It's a gelatinous animal that's made up of, 98% water. They're typified by the teen rows you can see running down the outside of the body, and the heavy white line at the front of the head is the mouth. It captures other ctenophores for its prey.
Like a neon sign, isn't it?
Very much so.
Is this how you're controlling the ROV?
That's correct. This is the joystick that controls all of the thrusters on the vehicle except for the vertical ones, and the verticals are controlled by the slide pod in my left hand. The sub has 6 thrusters.
Pat, Did you bring the file?
Yeah. What's up?
Look at that monitor. What does the red thing look like?
At 160 feet, it could be anything. What's with the photos?
Archie lost more than a diamond and his tools and his shoe overboard. He lost his
Cummerbund.
cummerbund that he kept his pocket watch in.
We found his pocket watch.
Yes, we did. Can the arm of the ROV pick that up?
Sure, no problem.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go upstairs, Pat.
The deck was still going up and down, and George and I were still going up and down, wobbly and a bit queasy, but excited about what might be a major break in this case. That was Archie's cummerbund. Well, we'd know soon.
If you were Archie, and you had just stolen a diamond, and the United States Coast Guard was chasing you, and your boat had flipped over, what would you do?
George, I think knowing me as well as you do, you know what I would do. What would you do?
I'd deep six my pocket watch and put the despair diamond in the watch pocket of the cummerbund and zip it up.
In hopes that this bright piece of material could be spotted during a scuba dive?
In those very hopes.
I'd find you eventually, Slaggage.
Sheriff, we've been working.
Oh, yeah? Seems more like a vacation to me, but I won't get into that. I have had our old friend Archie Leach under watchful eye.
You been telling him?
No, I've been watching him. Seems for the past day or so, every 6 hours, he'd go down to the beach along Point Cabrillo.
What does he do?
He just walks along the beach with a pair of binoculars, looking out there at the ocean.
That's interesting, Sheriff.
No. I ain't got to the interesting part. The interesting part just happened today.
Oh, what just happened today?
About every 6 hours, he walks south along the beach, just about the time the tide comes in and out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but today, all of a sudden, he goes north to a Mentos Rock.
George, isn't that where his shoe washed up?
Uh-huh. When was the last time you saw him there, Sheriff?
About 5 hours ago.
He's due there in about an hour.
Partners, let's roll. We and the cummerbund got to Omentos Rock in a matter of minutes. We prepared a little surprise for Archie Leach and waited.
Yes. Looks like you caught me.
Put him in the car.
Oh dear, I don't know what I would have done had the diamond been lost forever.
Always glad to be of service.
Well, you Macklins have saved the day and made a good deal of money for the Save the Out-of-Door Fund in the process.
We were happy we could help, Lady Astute.
You are both so charming. And you, young man, have the wittiest sense of humor.
Really?
Yes.
Thank you, Lady Astute.
I especially love the story about the the can where people keep trash.
Archibald Leach confessed to a 487 PC grand theft and was tried and convicted in Monterey County in and for the state of California. He is presently spending a great deal of time away from fashionable parties.
% of Square One TV is a production of the Children's Television Workshop. This program was made possible by grants from the National Science Foundation, the Carnegie Corporation of New York, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by the financial support of viewers like you.
Corporate funding of Square One TV is provided by the Intel Corporation Foundation. Intel's technology is the brain power for computers in your life. Intel, the computer inside.